CBC News has learned that when the federal government pulled its support for the Billy Bishop Toronto Airport expansion last week, the Ontario government didn't see it coming. Now the province could be rethinking its support for a major federal project. I want to bring in CBC's Kate McKenna, who's in Ottawa. Kate, what have you learned?
Well, Sarah, two sources familiar with discussions say that there was a sort of gentleman's agreement between Ottawa and Ontario. Ottawa was going to support the Billy Bishop jet expansion, and in exchange, Ontario was going to support the Alto high-speed rail project. So these are two major projects that have support, but they also have a lot of opposition. And so both governments were going to expend some of their political capital to support these projects. The Toronto Star was the first to report that this agreement existed. However, on Friday, it kind of got blown up when the federal transport minister said that Ottawa is not interested in supporting the Billy Bishop expansion, paying for it essentially, because of the consultations that found that the majority of people in Toronto were against it. And this has sort of driven a wedge between Ontario and the federal government until very recently. And, Ontario Premier Doug Ford has been a real ally to Prime Minister Mark Carney. But today we heard some fighting words from Ontario's Transport Minister. Take a listen.
We've seen the federal government here listen to a small French group in Toronto, but we as the province will continue to push forward on a modernization of this airport. We urge the federal government to continue to consider that proposal, because it's a proposal that makes sense for people that want to travel through air and have different options. And it's also about building big projects. If Prime Minister Carney and his team want to, this is how they're going to treat bigger projects, I don't think you'll get much built.
I also reached out to the Prime Minister's office to see kind of what their reaction was to what we were hearing, and they said that, in their view, Alto is a great project. It's something that everyone should support. It's something that will transform travel. Of course, it's a train that would run between Ontario and Quebec, and that it is worth supporting on its own merits.
So, Kate, given what you're hearing, what you're learning, what do you expect is going to happen next?
Well, we heard from Ontario definitively today that they are planning on pushing ahead with this project, the expansion of Billy Bishop, although it's not clear at this point how they will be paying for it. But, one thing that's kind of interesting about this is the timeline. We know that this declaration from the federal government that they won't be supporting the airport expansion came out on Friday. And then on Sunday, the Prime Minister called a few by-elections, including one in the Toronto riding of Beaches, East York. And a senior Liberal source tells me it's not a coincidence, the timing on that. This expansion at the airport is something that's facing quite a bit of pushback from residents. And they knew that the NDP, which are opposed to the jet expansion, are going to be out strong on that, campaigning on that. And so the Liberals sort of wanted to neutralize that threat ahead of the campaign for the by-election. So there are a couple things at play here. But it will be up to the Ford government to try and convince people, particularly in Toronto, that this is a good project to move forward with. And in the meantime, Ottawa could be facing more challenges in terms of getting Alto off the ground because, Ontario can't necessarily stop it, but having them in the way could present serious challenges to the federal government.
CBC's Kate McKenna in Ottawa, thank you.